Hey guys, today I'm bringing you a presentation teaching you the ins and outs of Red Giant Software's Effects Suite 11. In this tutorial we'll cover most of the effects inside the plugin. I'm trying to cover most of the important ones. There's a few in there that are not as worth the money as the rest, but I'm going to cover the few that I think are the most useful in any video editing or visual effects project you got going. So this is the website where you can download the Effects Suite 11. There's a 30-day free trial. You get a discount if you're a student, and the full price is pretty hefty of like $900, but we'll get to that. If you want to buy it, you can buy it. Yeah. So we'll close that. Okay guys, we're inside of After Effects. I prefer to use After Effects. The plugin also works on Sony Vegas and think Motion. I'm not sure who owns that, but yeah, Red Giant Software, After Effects go together like bread and butter. Alright, first I want to cover is, so the first tool we're going to look at today is TuneIt. TuneIt is a tool used to transform your composition into artistic, cartoony style video. You could use it, make a kind of like a comic book style video. You could have it so it just looks like two cartoon characters are fighting, and so it turns your real live action footage into a semi-cartoon looking thing. So to apply this effect, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. Just press Enter and rename that TuneIt. Then you want to go Effects, scroll down till you find Red Giant TuneIt, and then you got a bunch of settings here. We're going to have a look at Rototune, Outlines Only, Heat Vision, Goth, and Blacklight Edges. First we're going to have a look at Rototune. And as soon as you give that a click, instantly your footage has got this toony looking soft pastel kind of painting to it. Once you do that, you can go ahead and start clicking and changing some settings up. You can turn the blur off, you can turn the blur down, and see you get a lot sharper edges there, you can see that. You can play with soft outlines and give that a click, and you get a bit more of a softer edge to the whole composition, kind of like a crayon or a pastel drawing. You know, the quality set to fast or high. You can turn the thickness of the soft outlines up, and you get a pretty cool looking effect. Once that accepts, you can see it's changed here a little bit, giving a little bit of grunge kind of thing. You can turn the thickness back down to 1, and after it thinks for a while, you can see it's nice and smooth now. Okay, so now we're back to our original footage. What we're going to do is we're going to have a look at Heat Vision, TuneIt Heat Vision. And I'm going to turn that layer on, and you can see this is just a default setting, and it tries to create a hot spot and a cool spot of your footage, and then it kind of gives off the effect that there's heat vision effect. You could use this if you were doing a composition like first person, maybe a robot or something like that. Robots see and they can look in heat vision, so this could be a useful effect for that. Go ahead, turn that back to the original footage. This is Goth, which I really like. It's just a mix of black, whites, and reds. You can go into the adjustment layer and change the color to like a blue even. It looks kind of cool. Just adds a nice kind of effect, very stylized effect to. You can drop the level down or put the level up. not too far. You can play with the color width, which I'll show you. So what the color width does is choose how much blue, that mid-tone color, it applies. And you can turn that down so it doesn't have much blue. It has no blue. If you put that setting down to 0, you can have it in the middle at 50% tile area, and you get some cool looking effects. You can change the darks to a darker blue even. You can have the highlights. You can have the highlights a lighter blue. And you get a very blue painting kind of look. Yeah, I guess it kind of looks like a water painting or something like that. Many applications for this. If I go back to the original footage, I can turn off blacklight edges. Now this tool kind of gives it like a Tron feel. You can adjust the color of that glow in the middle there, and then you get a really cool looking effect. You can mix the blacks up, you can make it a white or a darker blue, and it tries and finds the edges, the hard contrasting points, and it tries to give them an edge color. You can also keyframe this color too, so if I can go move down the timeline, I can change the color to red over time, and you get an effect where it goes from blue to red. You can invert it, which gives it a pretty awesome effect. It's probably not the best footage to use for this example, but you get a pretty cool idea of what it can do. You're gonna go click Meta footage, outlines only. This creates a black and white composition by default, where it makes the high contrast edges black and everything else white. And you can make this look like a sketchy, comic-y feel. So I can increase the strength. It gives sharp, comic-y edges. Put the thickness up, and you get nice thick white lines. Or you can put the thickness down. You get sharp point, like a sharp edge. You can turn the alias down, and you get less of a smoother effect if you turn the alias up. You can put the transparency down. Sorry, put the transparency up, and you get some of that original footage underneath. You can change the quality to high or fast, depending on what your system can handle. And yeah, overall it's a pretty good effect. Okay, the next effect I want to look at is Null Light Factory. Null Light Factory is created by John Knoll, who also helped create Photoshop. So it's got a good upbringing, you could say. You'll find Null Light Factory in the effects panel. You go Null Light Factory, and then just the normal Null Light setting. There's other settings as well, but they're not as. This is probably the best one to use. So once you apply that to an adjustment layer, you can see here, this is one I've prepared earlier. And what I've done is I've just animated it using keyframes to go left to right, then down, and then diagonally across. And also you have these certain effects you can use as well. So I've used the behavior, looping behavior. I've keyframed that, and I've applied the strobe to it. So it goes from being a strobe, it goes like a large glow, and then the midpoint shrinks to nothing. About there, and then it grows bigger and hits the wall there and bounces around. Yeah, it's a pretty cool 3D lighting effect that you get. Nice good for lens flares, replacing sunlight if you want a warm sunlight. Even if when you film your footage and it's not a great day, you can replace the sun with a null light and it'll look just as fantastic. You'll also see this effect a lot in music videos, cinema, like the latest and greatest action movies will probably have this exact effect in it. So after you've seen this, you'll probably see it everywhere now. Okay, the next effect I want to look at is tsunami. Tsunami is generates 3D water effects to create really nice compositions. So once I applied tsunami to this solid, it's just a not regular black solid, I've picked a preset from the preset panel, and the preset I've chosen is, I believe it was swells or ocean optics, and it sets it up so you start with your blue water, you come up out of the water, and then you can replicate your swell effect. I can show you what swells look like. So it just gives you ripply water. You can change the effects to get this looking really, really like up there. You can play around with some of the settings. The best way to learn this software is just try and break it and see what setting does what, and yeah, just playing around with the camera settings. So what I did was I just had the camera under the water and pan it up over the water. You can choose the water color, so maybe you want a lighter blue color, and it'll update there. So now it's going to the water, get a nice watercolor effect. You can delete the moon in the background. You can change it to a blue. You can use this light color tool to change the day, or like day or night or evening, kind of anything you can do there. So it's not a bad effect either. And one last effect I want to cover is called Text Anarchy version 1.4. And Text Anarchy allows you to animate your text, any like written text. You just type it in and you can do a whole bunch of cool stuff. So I've chosen my favorite preset of Text Anarchy, and I've chose Hacker. And Hacker allows you to type a phrase or a paragraph of words or something, and you choose between different fonts, and you can randomize your fonts. And what it does is it animates random characters just jittering and changing in, and then eventually it spells your word. So it'll say, I am hacking this computer using Red Giant software Text Anarchy. And yeah, so you can see there that the font changes. You can do a lot with this. You can change the randomness, so how random the characters are. You turn hinting on, fixed width. You can play with you can change the alternate color to maybe a red. So it'll go through and you'll get a red font, or maybe you want a green font. Maybe green is more hacking color. I'm not sure. But yeah, Text Anarchy can be used to do multiple different text effects. You can have this running vertically down the page. You can animate the position of it with X and Y. You can put the tolerance up, and that's how much the color will change. You can put the color randomness, alt color randomness up, and that will jitter around and change color. Put the font size randomness up, so we'll get random font sizes every time. So that's kind of cool. We can change the rate of change, which how fast it and how slow it changes the text. And yeah, it's not a bad preset. You can do character limits to symbols, or have it just letters and characters, or I like symbols. You get a lot of alien looking font and text and stuff. You can put the character limit up really high, so you gotta really play with it and get something you like. You can have hexadecimals only and stuff like that. So yeah, Text Anarchy is a good tool for animating your text. For maybe if you want to have a scene where you're hacking someone's screen, or you want like a matrix kind of ones and zeros float in from the top, you can do that all with Text Anarchy. So yeah.